listening to the Non-Del Influencers Podcast, brought to you by First Funding. Join host Matt Coles as he delivers powerful conversations to help non-delegated lenders succeed and scale in today's market.
All right, everyone. Welcome back to the latest episode of Non-Del Influencer Podcast. Very happy to have one of my dearest friends in the industry and a dear friend outside of the industry, Noah Schuffman, with me. Hello, Noah.
Hello, Mr. Coles. Good to see you as always.
What is your official title with Pennymac nowadays? Head muckety muck?
Head muckety muck. That's exactly it. It's SVP of TPO Sales.
Awesome. And you've been now with Pennymac for how long?
I've been with Pennymac actually today exactly 9 months.
No way. Is that it?
Yeah, that's it. I know. Can you believe it?
Feels like it's been forever.
Yeah.
Feels like it's been a while. So you obviously joined Pennymac. You knew what a great organization they were when you first got there. What's been some of the highlights in the first 9 months that you really feel like you're hitting the mark on?
Yeah. So, I mean, I came here because I saw the opportunity. I saw the growth model. I mean, it's no secret that Pennymac is growing quickly. And, on the sales side, that's something that's exciting to be a part of. I want to be a part of something that has large goals like I do and is kind of never standing still and always trying to progress, right? So that was very attractive to me. I mean, I think, that was attractive. The leadership, I think Pennymac's leadership is second to none in the industry. Excellent leadership team here, an executive suite at Pennymac, and a great culture, right? So for me, when I was coming on board, my goal was to really position myself with people that are smarter than I am, and learn from them. So there's been no shortage of education as I've been here, which is great.
Yeah.
And kind of learning different aspects, of the industry that maybe I hadn't been a part of, in previous companies, and really being a part of the strategy for growth, right? So I think that I've learned on a daily basis. I strengthen myself in those areas. And as far as specifically, I think, in the last 6 months, we've entered into the non-QM space, which was a big change for Pennymac. I think a surprise for many. And that has been, a very successful endeavor thus far, very rapid growth in that space. We've also, within that time frame, we rolled it out broker only to start, and then we, kind of pivoted into our non-Del Plus space. And now
nice.
we've started pivoting that even as a pilot into a select few of our non-Del Core clients as well. So we've made a lot of big steps in a very short period of time. So that's been really awesome to see and to be a part of. I have a pretty heavy non-QM background, so that was also attractive to me coming here to be a part of that growth. But to see that being kind of married and intertwined with the non-Del world is pretty cool too.
When you, one of the things that's always been pretty, in my short time here at First Funding, the leadership team at Pennymac, they make a decision that they want to go for it, and then they go for it. It's pretty impressive, right? Like, I mean, I think I was part of that journey that launched that non-Del Plus side. I definitely did some training for the sales team and set the market for what kind of was to be expected. And to see you guys just launch into that has been incredibly impressive. And then I know that your background is really non-QM heavy. And I love that you're allowing it in your non-Del Plus channel now, because that to me brings up incredible branding opportunities for the non-Del customer, right? To be able to take a product that doesn't fit the box and that people still, I mean, what is non-QM of the overall market? Is it still like 7 to 10%?
Well, it depends on how you slice or dice it, but in
Yeah.
the broker space, which let's include, non-Del Plus or hybrid
Yeah.
non-Del, whatever you want to call it in that, it's somewhere in between the 15 and 18% range now. So, but you can slice it, different ways.
Yeah.
But obviously, it became too large of a segment for even Pennymac to ignore, right?
Yeah.
So, at some point, I like to say, yes, hell froze over, and we jumped into that space, right?
Yeah.
But because it was too big to ignore, and you're right. There's such a great branding opportunity for our clients um, to be able to offer those products, to their borrowers and offer them as the lender is a really cool opportunity for the client.
So you came into the non-Dell world, obviously, you came into the non-Dell space kind of eyes wide open a couple of years ago. I don't think you had too much background in that space uh, coming into maybe 3 or 4 years ago into your career. And I love that perspective because it's exploded in that time, right? It's been rapid rise. What have you noticed about that change and that shift of the market? Because you came from a place where maybe you didn't really focus on it, where to what you just said, you cannot ignore the non-Dell space at this point.
No, 100%. And, when I first came in, 3 years ago or so into, being able to access the non-Dell space,
Yeah,
you know, having no experience in that, at first I was like, what does this mean for me, right?
right.
But as my eyes were open and I started talking to, whether it be warehouse lenders, first funding, talking to reps, talking to management there, and really understanding how this can enhance the process for our clients, is when I started to, really embrace it, right? So I think, it gives a lot of autonomy, right, for our clients. And the big difference is, look, the non-Dell Plus, or if you want to say the full service non-Dell, has really bridged the gap, right? So it's bridged the gap for our clients that don't have a full fulfillment service, or they don't want to use a third-party vendor for fulfillment, right? Or they just want to see the same flow that they see from broker with non-Dell. So
Right.
it gives them that opportunity, to be the lender, to have more autonomy with price, to have more autonomy in the appraisal space, et cetera, but yet still have the same touch and feel as they have known in the broker space, and use the same portal, not have to learn two different portals, right?
Yeah.
All of those things really give power to the client, right? And the power of choice, right? In more ways than just the choice of lender or product, right?
So, as a sales leader for a high performing organization, are you looking at your sales team? Two questions, right? One is every account executive should have some non-Dell customers in their book of business, probably, right? Because it is such a big part of the business today. And in addition, like I know one of the things that you and I have talked about in the past is going out to see clients and saying, like, what are you doing about the non-QM? Like I can, we all have access to production data these days. And if it's 15 to 18% of the market, you're leaving one out of every six deals on the table if you're not focusing on non-QM. So just kind of like two different things. Like how do you go about the management of a sales force with both the non-Dell and the non-QM space and the opportunity that arises?
Yeah, and so it's a little bit different here at Pennymac, how we approach that specific to non-QM, right?
Yeah.
But the way that I would approach that is, I mean, one is with the sales team, when you're talking and you're looking at clients with a certain level of volume, that should always be a conversation, right? And I'm not saying you have to do a lot of volume to do non-Dell, right? But if you are doing a fair amount of volume, obviously the conversation on the sales side is, if you generate and create that relationship through the non-Dell platform versus the broker, especially when you're talking to larger clients, they may be approved with 30, 40, 50, 100 partners on the
Yeah.
broker side, right? Most of the time, they're going to limit the number of investors that they deal with on the non-Dell Plus side, right? Or the non-Dell side. So, that 40 or 50 or even 100 can be whittled down to 10 to 15 investors that they're working with.
Yeah.
So just from a
Absolutely.
sales perspective, you're narrowing the scope of competition in that regard, right?
Yeah.
So it becomes a more intimate relationship, right? Because, from a client perspective or a broker perspective, they're not going to want to do the paperwork and the compliance and all of that for tens and tens and tens of.
Yeah, we talk about that. I talk a lot about that with a lot of people that move from that broker to banker space, because oftentimes the LO that they're trying to recruit comes in and waves a rate sheet from the latest fly-by-night lender that might be out there and says, "We got to get signed up with these guys. They have the best rates."
Right.
They have the best rates for what,
Today.
maybe for a week, right? And or today or for the next hour or whatever it might be. And really, at the end of the day, when you make that move from broker to banker, you got to start looking at your relationships. And I know one of the things that I shared with your sales team before is the investor interview, right? Because if you're not asking your investor that you're signing up with, do they do the MERS? Do they do, the UCDP? There's way more questions than it comes into the wholesale. And the last thing you want to do is get into a relationship with an investor and you realize that they don't do anything that you're supposed to, or that the other investors do. And Pennymac Non-Del Plus always does a fantastic job with all that stuff, all that type of stuff.
Yeah, and then you can get, obviously you get deeper in the, as you just said, you get deeper in the relationship when you're having more meaningful conversations and you're having conversations about more important details. I mean,
Yeah.
An AE talks to a new broker partner and essentially it's like, hey, we want to get signed up, and most AEs are like, great, let's get you signed up, right? And that's kind of the extent of it, right? But if you're talking about a non-del, you got to get deeper into how they actually, how they work as a lender. What is it that they're doing on their end? What are their needs? How are we going to be able to help you with their needs? Which programs are you looking to do through the non-del channel? Because sometimes the clients will want to broker certain programs and bank other programs, right? So, and especially that question becomes relevant when you're talking about non-QM, the marriage of non-QM and non-del. Some brokers are comfortable with that, some are not. Some only want to broker. Maybe they don't want to bank business, business purpose loans. So there's a lot of intricacies, and you can really kind of move the relationship forward by digging deeper, right? Which we should be doing anyway, but it becomes a natural progression when you're talking about.
I want to sidetrack the business conversation and talk about a little bit about the culture of Pennymac right now, because you guys are front and center with a lot of big promotional activity right now, especially with the Olympics coming up. You and I both live in LA. They're coming to LA 2 more years.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to me a little bit about what that means for Pennymac and what the end game is and how you guys are trying to row in the same direction as the Olympics are coming.
Yeah, we're really excited about it. And obviously that played into my decision coming here too. I mean, I just saw that's an exciting, venture, right? That's an exciting joint venture, so to speak. So the fact that we are official sponsor, partner of the LA 28 games, Olympic and Paralympic games, we've already had multiple events that we've had, athletes attend, speak, do signings, different things. That's very exciting, and we feel like our culture and what we're trying to do really aligns with the Olympics, right? I mean, the values and all of that. So it's something that's very exciting to us because we think when you think of the Olympics, it's something that's unifying, right? Not all teams in sports are unifying, of course, right? I mean, look at what just happened in the NBA finals, right? So you got one group of people that's really happy and one group of people that's really sad. But when it comes to the Olympics, it unifies the United States and it unifies us all working towards a common goal together. And that is what really attracted Pennymac, to the Olympics.
The work ethic, and I know you guys have had a couple athletes come in and do some speaking engagements. I'm sure it's been pretty powerful stuff, but the Olympic mindset of working your entire life for that one opportunity to get on that stage in the Olympics. And listen, not everyone can be a baseball player or a basketball player. I mean, there's rhythm gymnastics, there's skateboarding. I mean, there's so many cool Olympic events that they get that one moment to shine in their platform of their career. You and I have a dear friend who played field hockey in the Olympics, right? And so you don't get to see field hockey, on ESPN unless they're running the Ocho for a while. But
Right.
it's pretty cool to see the work and the determination that goes into all that. And I love how Pennymac is bringing that into your guys' company culture as well.
Yeah, and if you ever hear our president Doug Jones speak about the Olympic athletes, it's pretty awesome because he's very emotionally invested. He's
Yeah,
very passionate about it, and he just loves it. The stories that you hear, I mean, these things like, one of the athletes that he was speaking to had to they don't get paid, right? The pay comes later. You may get sponsored a little bit to help you,
yeah,
pay for training and that sort of thing. But if you do well and you win a gold and then endorsements come along, that's one thing. But nobody talks about the 4 years leading up to that when you don't have any of those endorsements, when you don't have any money. And one of the athletes that we were talking to had to sell their car, was living out of the car, then had to sell their car, didn't have a way to get around, was having to take public transportation to go to training and all of this, sold their car just to be able to pay for the training to get to that moment. So it is truly like a testament to these people's drive to for greatness, right? And I think that's what aligns, we our mantra, our motto is greatness lives here, right? And great is an acronym, right? But
yeah,
greatness is what we're striving for. And that's exactly what Olympians are striving for, to be the best in the world for that moment of what you do. And you train so hard for one moment, right?
yeah.
It's unbelievable accomplishment, right? And so aligning with that just seemed like a natural fit for us. And yeah, there already has been, but there's going to be a lot of really cool opportunities coming up with the Olympics here in in 28 in LA. And so, people will have to stay tuned because there will be opportunities for clients and all that sort of thing for events. And we're very excited about it.
Oh, that's fantastic. I want to just go back to the Pennymac and what your role is there. You guys have been hitting on all cylinders for quite a while. I know that every time you guys get into a boardroom or a meeting room, that there's more want there. You guys have an appetite to continue to move up and to really grab market share. What are you guys trying to focus on right now? Is it to be prepared operationally if the market rates drop a little bit? Is it trying to find new marketplaces where you're not maybe getting market penetration? What's the big ask right now?
Well, unfortunately, I think it's all of the above.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's unfortunate or fortunate, right? But we've got a pretty clear directive that we're trying to, double market share. So and that's a tall order, right?
Yeah.
So and if there's one thing that I know about Pennymac, even only being here for 9 months, you said it actually a little bit earlier, is like when we set our minds to it, we basically take action and do it right away.
Yeah.
If there's one thing about Pennymac, we are not patient, right?
Yeah.
So we decide we want to do something, we want to do it, we want to do it fast, we want to do it efficiently, um, and we want to see results, right?
Right.
So right now, I mean, I think you hit it. We're looking for opportunity that we don't already have. We're looking to deepen relationships and increase opportunity with the clients that we do have. We're entering into a new market, which would be obviously the non-QM space. We're constantly looking to improve and or add new programs. So, for example, we just added investment properties on our HELOAN CES second
Yeah.
products, right? Which is fairly unique. So that's something we're looking to drive, right? Looking to drive, hey, where are we looking best? What type of products or what type of loans are we really looking to push? What are we talking about? What's the kind of directive that we want to speak, with our clients about? So, that would be non-QM. We have an awesome jumbo, product out on the market. We talk a lot about that. Obviously, expanding through non-QM, expanding. This is where the non-delegated correspondent or the non-del plus comes into play, because expanding, there's so much opportunity to expand in that regard, where maybe right now we're just doing broker and we have some emerging bankers, right, that are coming on the scene, and we can help them grow in that space, or we can help, improve share in that
Yeah.
way. So I think we're looking at all and trying to. We can't pick one lane and double share in one lane. It'd be nice if we could.
Yeah. I want to tee you up with this kind of a finishing question and or philosophy. So in our golf league, you're known as the positivity choo choo train. And we came out of 2026 firing on all cylinders. Rates looked like they were trending lower, and everyone was feeling the momentum. And then May, June came, and it feels like we've kind of hit the brakes on momentum. And I was before First Funding. I've been in wholesale for 20 plus years in my career. You've been in wholesale for quite a long time. The mentality of a salesperson in wholesale kind of comes and goes with interest rates, right? And there are days when this industry can kick you in the teeth. And so just how do you try to what are you doing today to keep your sales team on that positivity train to continue to try to hit on all strides, even when they are faced with adverse interest rate markets?
I talk a lot about this, as you probably imagine. So yeah, so I talk a lot about this, and so it's not easy, but I learned this from a mentor of mine years ago, and I have a very simple mantra, simply stated, but difficult mantra, right? And it's something that I remind myself of every single day. There's not a day goes by that I don't remind myself of it, and I certainly remind my team of it, probably ad nauseum. They're probably sick of hearing about it. But that mantra is 3 foot world. Okay. So I can't control anything outside of my 3 foot world. And what does that mean? If you hold your arms out like this, anything outside of that circle is out of my control. All I can control is what's going on here and how I react to things. So the market, any exterior, anything exterior, I can't control that. So market conditions, we all suffer through the same way. When it's good, it's good. When it's bad, it's bad. We're all dealing with the same thing. The interesting, yes, this year was teed up to be a good year. It's not going to be quite as great as we all thought it would be.
Yeah.
But there's still plenty of business out there, right? There's
Yeah.
plenty of business. There's plenty for us all to share. And so the 3 foot world mentality is I need to control what I can control. And that means I can only control my reaction and my output. So it doesn't
Yeah.
matter what the market is doing. It
Right.
makes no difference. There's plenty of business out there and somebody's going to grab it, right? So how
Output
I
is
address, go ahead.
output is an awesome way to look at it. Output matters, right? Because
Output matters. It's the only thing that matters.
you can do the woe is me. And listen, I've had mornings and I've had days. I mean, I'm going through I'm going through it right now. I got a lot of things piling
Talking to me?
No, talking, just piling up at the office, and you just go, man, woe is me. And then you got to go, man, what's my output going to be today? I'm going to clear my inbox. I'm going to block off my time, be proactive with what I have to do. Because at the end of the day, I've been doing this for 25 years. It hasn't been smooth sailing every single day, but I love that word, the output. The output is what matters the most.
Well, the other thing is,
yeah.
sorry, Matt. The other thing is accountability, right?
Yeah.
So, which goes along with output. You just said I block out my calendar. That's being accountable to yourself. And I talk about this a lot too. We are most of us, or some of us, are good at holding people accountable. We're good at holding our lender accountable, our appraiser accountable, our underwriter accountable, our ops people, our processor, whomever. We're good at holding others accountable. What we're not good at doing is holding ourselves accountable. Right? That's generally the first thing that goes, and that is directly related to output, right? So what you just said about blocking out your calendar to do those things, that's you holding yourself accountable, right? And I think that's so important for your output every single day, blocking time to help as an AE or a loan officer grow your own business, right?
Yeah.
But you have to set that time apart every single day. There's a block of a couple hours every day that is specifically only for growing your business, which is output, right? We get sidetracked by all the incoming that comes at us, right? But you got to set time aside for that.
Yeah. I know. Continue to do great things. Can't thank you enough. Pennymac has been a fantastic partner, and I love seeing the growth of the Non-Del Plus channel that you guys are putting out there. And thank you for the time. I appreciate the opportunity.
I appreciate you, my friend. Anytime. It's always good to talk with you.
Bye.
It'd be
Cheers.
better over the golf course and the beer. But
Yeah, sounds good. Later.
Thanks for tuning into the Non-Del Influencers podcast, powered by First Funding. For more resources and episodes, visit nondelinfluencers.com.